So hello everybody, it's Decentralized Day with another presentation, and I have invited Curtis, who was kind enough to come. Hello Curtis.
Hi, David.
So we have come a very long way with Curtis. Ever since 2022 when we did our podcasts, for fun you should have a look at one of them, because back then we were arguing a lot back and forth with Curtis about altcoins and Bitcoin, and over the years I have actually realized that I should have listened to him more. And I'm glad that today he is going to be around challenging me, because what I have prepared for you is basically my quarterly presentation that I do every quarter, every 2 months, every 3 months, depending on when do I think it's the best time to do it. This quarter, I did think that March is going to be the best time to do it. The last time I did it in December, and I've done it a little bit differently because it's boring to do it all the same. There is a case that I have basically made, and I think there is lots of good arguments about validity of this case, and it's close to what people call left translated cycles. So I want to talk to you about that. Then I'm gonna give you quite few arguments to support this case, why this case could be valid. But also I am going to, in the second part of the presentation, I'm going to be basically debunking it and giving you arguments why this case isn't valid. And you should draw your own conclusion. You should not rely, I'm going to give you my conclusion, but you should not rely on that. You should make your own. And I'm going to, just a second, I'm going to explain you why it's such an important to make your own conclusion. So first, I need to talk a little bit about this case in depth, because there is lots of lines on the chart, lots of text, lots of circles. I mean, so we have like 15 years. This is just Bitcoin here, but Bitcoin is very closely Bitcoin is related to the total market cap as well, because if Bitcoin doesn't make higher highs, we've never had in history, we've never had altcoins making higher highs in that case.
Mm.
So that's why I'm looking at the Bitcoin foremost, because this is basically a trend that has never been broken. I'm saying that there are quite few similarities when you look at, for instance, this white is what people called the mid-cycle top that happened in 2019. And what I'm saying on this model is that it looks to me that it's quite similar to the top that we made in 2023, which means that 2019 was 2023. And nobody really talked about it. Nobody was calling it as the mid-cycle top. Then what I'm saying is that the January 2024 looks to me, and it literally looks to me like the January of 2021. I remember I was there. There was a little correction. We went very fast up in January 2021, and then we were correcting like 20% or so. Not that much, but people were kind of rational. I really remember the feeling that people were rational. People were thinking we're going to go back down because we went up so much. People were rational there. And the very same I observed in January 2024. Again, the similarity, January, and again, it happened after the mid-cycle top, right? Then, but we did continue higher. We broke higher into the first cycle top in a green circle. And again, the same actually happened after the January 2024. We broke higher in the spring of 2024. So that's why I also call it in a green, and I call it first cycle top, made in the spring. Again, the similarity, spring.
What do you mean rational? Sorry to interrupt, but what do you mean rational?
Rational that people were rather cautious. I have seen so much analysis and I'm going to show you some of it now. I have seen so much analysis in like January, February of 2024 about that we are overheated, that markets are overheated and they're due for a correction. Like people were really like kind of like not really triggered like ultra bullish, like higher, like cautious that even though we went
Right.
up a lot, they were still kind of cautious. They had rational expectations of where the price should go next.
You mean in the green circles or the purple
That's
circles?
that's the purple circle. That was a
Purple
small
circles.
correction.
Okay.
Mhm. And after
Okay.
that we went higher. And there, yes. And Then we've made what I made into this where I put the green circle of what I call first cycle top. Again, see the similarity. Spring that happened in the spring, both of the times. Then we had a correction after the first cycle top. That was in the summer 2021, and again the correction was again in the summer 2024. So immediately after that, I see some similarities. I don't know how about you. And then we made another top that was basically in the winter. And in the previous cycle, it was the total cycle top. And also we had the winter top in 2017. That was also the total cycle top, after which we had basically a bear year. And the 2022 was also the bear year. So that's why I put it into the red. I see similarities. Also, I can connect it with a trend line. This is very visible. Actually, the trend line that connects like the last actually four tops. So even though the trend line is on the linear, this is not logarithmic scale. When you put a logarithmic scale on Bitcoin, then you can see different trend lines. People have been saying that Bitcoin is a logarithmic asset, or it grows logarithmically. So that's why you should be looking for a logarithmic trend lines. But I don't actually agree anymore, because Bitcoin is too large to continue to be logarithmic and to grow logarithmically. Bitcoin has too big market cap. It's recognized by law as commodity. Now it's in the state reserves. So I actually think that the linear trend lines are a good idea.
Yeah, that's clear. Yeah.
Curtis is also motivating me to be clear in my argumentation here. So I told you just a minute ago to make your own conclusion, and I'm going to evaluate why. Taking CryptoCon as an analyst to show you my point, but I could take many other analysts. This is not just about CryptoCon, or I'm going to also show you Bitcoin 21. This is not about these two. This is not about me trying to criticize their work, not at all. Actually, the fact that I can bring him up to you is because I actually see his work as very valuable, and I do recommend you to follow him. But you always need to check his work, check his research that he's willing to give up, and to make your own conclusion, not take his conclusion to make your own. Because the mistake that everybody is doing, and I'm now gonna give you an examples why. When we were, from today's perspective in the past, so let's say a year ago, I have seen quite few analysts to have a very good structured analysis. That December 2024 or January 2025 could be like an important top, even a cycle top or some important top. Okay, I have seen lots of analysts say that, but that was when December, January was still far away. And then by the time we came to that time, actually, they changed. Okay, so that's why
right.
Homer Simpson here, like the analysts were like a year ago, they were like, once we come here, sell. And then we came here and they just, never mind, buy. And,
yeah, right. Yeah.
And I'm just showing you that this was the beautiful, this is one of his work that he published in the Q1 2024. And he's saying here explicitly, this would give us a cycle top 21 days from November 28, 2024. And also he says, and I was really now stunned to read that in retrospect, be aware of potential double top. And now have a look how it looked like in December and January. Basically in December was 207,000 Bitcoin, and or 108,000, and in January actually the same. So and then when we came to that 108,000 Bitcoin, excuse me, when we came there, he didn't come back to his previous analysis. He didn't say, okay, this is what I analyzed, and now it's probably a good time to exit market. It's obvious euphoria. He actually was only making a work about how this is just an example sample from 20th of January, how we're gonna go up immediately. You can see it on this.
So
here.
why do you think he changed?
They want more return. That's why they all changed, because they want more returns. They're not happy with the returns they have been given, they have reached. That's why.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, a lot of people too remember, well, back in the day when you and I were talking, it was, will Bitcoin ever hit 100,000? And a lot of people said no. I personally said yes, but I didn't know when. But it was this really lofty, it was like this golden number in the sky that would never be reached. and Bitcoin maxis were called stupid because you'll never hit 100,000. And I think a lot of Bitcoin maxis didn't even believe it. Now we're there and it's boring and we sit there. Now, some people have sold 100K. I think part of the selling has been people taking profits like long-term hodlers, but still it gets boring so fast. And like you say, it's not enough. So it's greed. And now people think, I want 150, I want 175. And now you hear, oh, it's going to a million, right? And
Mm.
so it does fit a bearish narrative that we've seen this before, right? So in 2020, 2021, when
Mhm.
we were hitting 70, people were saying 250, 300, and of course it didn't get there. So to the bearish argument, you are seeing a lot of $1 million headlines, and
Yes.
suddenly 100K is not enough. And I have to admit, for me also, it's not enough. I want more. I don't want to sell at 100K. It's boring. I could have sold 100K for the last 2 months or 90 days. I didn't. I didn't sell very little. I sold very little. It's no longer interesting. It's no longer the bat signal in the sky. It's a boring story. So it is interesting how our expectations move. And what you're describing here is even the analysts who should be more technical, right? Because they speak technically, but even they move their numbers.
Pretty much.
And
Yes.
not only that, he's not bragging he got it right. He's discounting it because he
Yeah.
personally wants
Yes.
more. Because he could have said, "Look at me, I'm such a great analyst," but he's not happy with that.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
This,
yeah.
this is scary. And my point that I'm making is that make your own conclusion, look at the older work of analysts, and and also another slide is just another analyst, Bitcoin 21, pretty much doing the same, but just a little bit different. I'm showing because Bitcoin 21 is really hard working. He's putting too much, maybe even a little too much analysis. And again, this is not like me trying to criticize these students. This is me actually showing a quality of their work. It's just that you need to make your own conclusion out of it. And in the 1st of December, he published, and this was just one of the many. I just cherry picked this one, but he published like there were like so many charts and so many supportive and really good supportive arguments. And he's saying why I see short-term top in January. And he was saying like, okay, around the inauguration is a good time to exit crypto and reconsider, step back, reconsider. That's basically what he was saying, not just in this tweet. And then as we were approaching, we were on the 18th of January, so very close there. I even confronted him because I saw him moving that. Then I confronted him that, hey, wait a second, didn't you? I've seen some projections. Inauguration good time to sell and reconsider. And then he got back to me and said, well, I canceled that idea. It looks like February or March will be the time. So, okay, guys, we have February, March right now. So I don't think he is exiting crypto as well. So anyway, just wanted to make this point. This is very important to comprehend, because if I was just following their work and relying on their present work, for instance, or other analysts, I also would not be able to sell around the inauguration. So
Right,
yeah.
right.
And now let me go into the supportive arguments for my left translated cycle, or what the other people call the left translated cycle. So I know there is quite a lot on this. This is not maybe that clear to you. So first of all, in the background, there is this left translated cycle with the same tops that I've already explained you, with the same circles. And I've overlaid it with this cyan, right? There's a cyan color, this white cyan chart. And this white cyan chart with a secondary here scale, with a percentage scale, that's the dominance of the others. Others is the index, all the altcoins except the top 10. Okay.
Okay.
So, and I've overlaid it, and I'm able to actually link very similar movements with this others dominance with the Bitcoin. It spiked up a lot in the first cycle top. So it did in 2021, it was 15%. But there was also a spike in Q1 2024. So that's also supporting, at least to me, supporting the argument that this was the first cycle top.
Look, can I just clarify, and maybe your audience? So you're talking about the light blue line, and that
Yes.
represents all coins except for Bitcoin in the top 10 altcoins.
Yes, and
Okay.
their dominance
Okay.
the market cap, the total market
And
cap.
so it's fallen off a lot recently. Hey.
It's falling off from 2021 actually. So this is where it's different. This is what the altcoiners. This is why the altcoins are failing to sell at all because they expect much more.
Yeah.
But even the first cycle top in 2024, even that was actually lower, already lower, because
Yeah.
there is a quite look how differently it moved in 2021. It actually went into a higher top. It went
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
higher top than it was in 2017, okay? And then it made even higher top in at which resulted to be the total cycle top of 2021. They made even
Yeah.
higher top. But this time there was a spike. The dominance did spike, the others' dominance did go up. So the altcoiners are also wrong when they were saying there was no like strength at all, any strength of altcoins, or it was but just underwhelming.
Of course, though, they're not going to sell on a modest pump. They want a huge pump because the entire narrative of those coins is that they need to outperform Bitcoin and even Ethereum, the top. It's hardwired in them that, of course, they're not going to sell on 100% or 200%. They want 1,000% or 2,000%. Otherwise, they're not getting paid to take the additional risk because they do know it's risky.
But what I wanted to show you that the address dominance did go up a bit, and it actually coincided with the first and also with the second, what I marked in with the red circle, the second cycle top as well. Even though
Okay.
these moves were very underwhelming, but and also it bottomed where I've marked this white circle that was that I what I call the mid cycle top in 2023, and the same it bottom in 2019. So again, like I link these things. Like I can see like similar movements in the time, and that's why I am actually using this as a supportive argument that my left translated cycle could be valid. Or at least worth to keep an eye on, at least, even if it proves to be not valid over time, it's still worth to keep an eye on it. Okay, another argument that I'm going to use is the meme coins. So the past cycle and now. So at the bottom screen, we have the meme coin market cap, and it's very clear here as well. The meme coins basically they made two parabolic moves in the 2021, and the first parabolic move was around the first cycle top actually, and then they went down, and then they made another parabolic pump. I know it doesn't seem to be parabolic, but it's multiples. This is multiples here. Another move was around what resulted to be the total cycle top in 2021. And guess what? Guess what happened over the last year actually? We had the first meme coin craze pump, parabolic pump in the Q1 2024, which I link to, or I actually speculate that is the first cycle top. And then we had a correction. The meme coins started to basically die, and then they made another parabolic pump basically around what I link or what I'm showing, what I'm arguing to be a second cycle top or maybe a total cycle top. So again, the meme coins moves looks to me similar, and to me they support the left translated cycle idea. Is it clear? Clearly explained, Curtis?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna progress. As long as I'm clear, I'm progressing. Now another one, golden ratio multiplier hit first in a top 2024. So I'm going to be showing you lots of CryptoCons work, and guess what? This is all the work from a year ago. Okay, this is not the present work. This is all when what I said that people were rational. They basically weren't so triggered like I don't have enough. It was like just look at this, okay? Just look at this analysis. He's showing a golden ratio multiplier. I believe he even said that this wasn't retrofitted. Retrofitted means that you adjust the settings of some chart, of some indicator. You adjust the settings to fit some tops and bottoms, so then it shows clearly what you want to see, more clear. That's what means retrofitted, when you backwards adjust or back engineer some some indicator. Okay, so again, this was green in 2017, so one less that was hit, and that ended up to be basically the first cycle top. Okay, and now when you have a one less layer than that, that was hit basically in 2024. That was hit in 2024. You can see it also clearly here. This is confirming to me at least that March 2024 was the first cycle top. Okay, another one, again, CryptoCon MVRVZ. And in this theory, for instance, this is again from his work from February, as you can see. So this is a year old work of his. And in here, he basically calculated, or he's showing that once we cross this 2.56 mark on the MVRVZ, like we crossed it in November 2020, we crossed it in February 2017, and there is basically 10 months or 1 year to the top.
So you'll need to explain what is the MVRVZ.
Okay, MVRVZ is the market value versus realized value.
Yeah, realized is its acquisition price when it's bought, and then market value is the total capitalization of, so the market cap, I guess. It's the market cap divided by the cost.
Anyway, CryptoCon observed that once we cross the 2.56 mark, which we did in February 2024, that it's 10 to 12 months to the total cycle top. And it pointed him that actually around December, and this is a year ago, and he wrote the top December 2024 question mark. And he made a lot of his work like that.
Oh, also, so he ignored this as well.
Of course, he ignored all of this. And there is much, much more. This is just cherry picks that I am now including.
Right, right.
Cherry picks that I liked. Anyway, another slide. Again, CryptoCon. This is again different, something different called Directional Movement Index DI plus 2x. So Curtis, if you're gonna ask me what is Directional Movement Index DY, honestly, I do not know.
It's a good start. Okay.
But I do see that CryptoCon has observed that once this crosses the 55.12 mark, once it gets intersected, then the first cycle top happened soon after that. So this is yet another point of view which supports that why actually the March or a Q1 2024 could have been the first cycle top, basically equivalent of Q1 2021. And again, on this slide, again he also projects and with the red arrow that final top December 2024. So again, anyway, another one, and this is Bitcoin realized profits, and this is something that everybody knows and also easy to understand. So when it is green, that's when the people are selling with profits, and the higher this chart is, the more profits they're realizing. And then inversely, when this is in red, that means that people are selling with losses. And basically, the deeper it goes down, basically the more losses people are realizing. And historically, people have been realizing the most losses at the very bottom over the past 10 years. This is the 10 years of history. And people have been also realizing the most profits over the past 10 years, except for 2013 maybe. But the most profits are usually realized around the first cycle top. I also write a little bit of my thoughts around that. So what I'm thinking is that people are at the first cycle top, they are more basically rational, meaning they can lock in. They are not triggered bullish like I want more. They are more ready to or able to pull a trigger to sell, because They had to endure the bear market. They had to endure the kind of a sideways of the mid market. When we come to the first cycle top, people sell. So, and again, this is confirming that a Q1 2024 actually really could have been the first cycle top equivalent to Q1 2021 because the realized profits were extreme after long years. Okay, this is my observation. This is not the CryptoCons anymore. This is total free. Total free is index of cryptocurrencies except for Bitcoin and Ethereum. So everything except the top two. That's total free. And when you look at the monthly RSI, then you basically see that we went into an extreme again around the Q1 2024. So I am again here trying to support my thesis that the Q1 2024 was the first cycle top equivalent of Q1 2021, and therefore it is worth to consider that Q4 2024 was the equivalent of Q4 2021. Yeah, do you have any questions about this?
No, that's clear.
Okay. And this is all the arguments that I prepared for you that were supporting my left translated cycle case. And now let's have a look at the arguments that actually debunk it. So that I'm now going to show you some arguments that do say or indicate that actually during this year 2025 we could still have, or should even have, still higher high. So let me go into it.